welcome back. I'm Carrie and this is Keep It Simple DIY. I'm making instant pot meals and I'm going to make something called Fiesta Chicken. I'm of course not following the recipe exactly because who would I be if I was? I am going to kind of put my own spin on it. Here are some changes that I'm making. It calls for 2 cans of Rotel. I'm going to do a can of Rotel and a can of green chili because it also calls for like jalapenos in there. So I figured let's mix it up like this. It also calls for black beans and I'm out. I need to can some. So I'm going to use Great Northern beans. And then it does call to add some peppers and I'm not adding peppers. I mean, I am adding these peppers, so we're good there. The recipe also called for some bell peppers and I am not going to add those because we don't have any. So I'm going to start off with the rice. So it calls for 2 cups of rice. I'm thinking that might be a bit much. This is going to make a ton, but the cat just saw something. So I'm going to put a little over 1.5 cups. What did you see? Now I'm going to rinse the rice and then we will add everything else in. Not sure if I mentioned, but of course we're going to put cheese in this, but not until it is done cooking. I am going to add some chicken and I'm using canned chicken because it's just the easiest way. And I feel like canned chicken is perfect for this type of application. So 1 pint of canned chicken. And then I'm going to drain this can of corn, get that in there, and drain this can of beans and get that in there. That was a good seal. Okay, the can of beans is going in as well. I think what I'm going to do with this is make burritos out of it. So I think that'd be delicious. Next up, we have a packet of taco seasoning. This packet is not quite full, but I'm still going to put it in. Almost full. And a packet of ranch seasoning, which I've bought ranch seasoning many times and never used it. And this year is the year that I've decided to fall in love with ranch seasoning. So here's to ranch seasoning. And this is why I think this is going to be delicious. I've made things like this so many times and there just isn't enough flavor, but putting the ranch packet and the taco seasoning packet, I'm excited about that and I think it's going to work out very well. So let's get these tomatoes with green chilies in here. And now I'm debating on if I actually want to put the green chilies in. Maybe I don't, because there are some green chilies here. I mean, it did call for 2 of these. Should I just add 2 cans? I'm gonna mix this with a chopstick. Sometimes it's all about what the easiest thing to clean will be. I'm looking at it to see the quantity of liquid in here because it called for 2.5 cups of extra liquid after adding 2 things of tomatoes, but that's with 2 cups of rice, and I only did 1.5 cups of rice. I don't want to have the rice be too mushy. It looks good already though. I think, let me see. I don't think I'm going to add this, and I don't think I need this much liquid. What I do have though is some pork stock that's just in a small container. Maybe we'll do this one. Yeah, that was good. And then I grabbed out the zucchini powder that we dried up earlier this summer, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of that in here. I think that'd be delicious, and that'll help because we didn't add the peppers. It'll give us some extra vegetable in there. So a little bit goes a long way with that. Hopefully that was not a mistake. Mix that up as well. So did I follow the recipe at all? I think kind of. All right. Clean as you go. So here's what we're looking like. This is how much liquid's in there. I am going to get the lid on and then put this on the rice setting after making sure that that is done. Rice, start, and we'll see it once it beeps. This just beeped and I'm going to manually release Hopefully you can hear me over that, but I choose to manually release anytime I have rice. Otherwise the rice gets overcooked. We're gonna let that do its thing for a minute. This has completely come down from pressure and ooh, that looks fantastic. I'm going to add some cheese and mix it up. Uh-oh, burned a little on the bottom. Maybe just browned. I think we'll be okay. Uh-oh, well, maybe I didn't add enough water. That side's fine. See, I didn't want it to end up being soupy. I actually think this is just fine. It just had that one little spot that was a little overcooked. So I'm just mixing this cheese in as best as I can. And I want to separate the chicken so I don't have like a huge lump of chicken. Oh, I just grabbed this so that I can, hold on. Whew, my arm's getting tired. This is up pretty high for my arm. Okay, let's taste this. I want to see if, first, if the rice is cooked all the way, and then also if it has a good flavor. Kind of grab a little piece of everything. It's really hot though, so it needs to cool down. It's really hard to see the beans because they blend in. They're the same color, but they're there. Okay, let's see. That's good. The rice is fully cooked. Any more liquid and it would have been mushy. So I wonder if maybe I just left it in here a little too long after it came down from pressure. It was about a minute or so, which is more than I usually do. That's actually really good. The combination of the taco seasoning and the ranch packet is perfect. I think anytime I do something like this, I will put those in there again. That's delicious. So I'm gonna let it cool off, and then I think I'm gonna put it in these tortillas and make burritos out of it, because we haven't had burritos in our freezer in a long time. So I can do this. I might make some burrito bowls. We'll see. On to the next recipe. All right, you guys know it. We are doing something buffalo because I've been on a buffalo kick as well. So buffalo and ranch are the two flavors of the year for me, I guess. I'm going to adapt this recipe a little bit. It calls for a full box of pasta and just 1 pound of meat. And I found that anytime I do a full pound of pasta, it's just too much. So I'm going to do probably not even half of this box. I have about half left. I think I'm gonna do a little less than that. I just would rather this be heavier on the meat than on the noodles, but this is protein pasta, so I'm using protein penny pasta. I'm going to add in 1 jar of canned chicken. Of course, I know I just said it, but canned chicken in an Instant Pot meal is delicious. It's my favorite way. Love when we got a good seal. I'm going to add this on top, and I'm adding the chicken first before I add any extra liquid because it has some broth in there, and I want to make sure I don't add too much liquid. I'm also going to add some onions from my frozen cut up stash of onions, and I'm hoping that this turns out just as good as the chicken and rice that I did in the Instant Pot in my last Instant Pot video. So if you didn't see that, definitely make sure to check it out after you're done watching this one because it was delicious. Now we need some salt and some garlic powder. And the recipe calls for 1/3 cup of buffalo sauce. And the last time it was like 2 tablespoons or something is what the recipe called for in the other one. And so that was definitely not enough. So we're gonna do about 1/3 cup. We need to add some cream cheese. And I think I'm just going to add the rest of this block. It's a little interesting adding it right now, but I read the recipe and that's what it said. At least I think that's what it said. It's been a while since I read the recipe. I think it did say to chop it up though, which I'm not doing. It'll be fine. Then the last thing is to add in the liquid. I'm going to add just some turkey broth. You could add water, but broth, anytime you're making a meal like this, add broth or add water. No. But anytime you're making a meal like this, if you can add broth, it tastes so much better. Let me give that a little bit of a mix up, using the chopstick again. And yes, I am making these on the same day because the recipe that we just made, well, it's cooling in the back over there. I'm going to make burritos out of that, and I'm going to put them in the freezer, like as freezer meals, like freezer prep. And this is going to be one of my preps for the week. I think I'm going to add just the rest of this. It might be a little soupy, but it'll soak it all up. You know, here's what we do. Add just a few more noodles. I always clean as I go. Always, always, always. Put these away. Here's what it's looking like in there. I'm going to get the lid on. And yes, I do have two liners. I have a liner there and I have a liner up there because this was recalled. One of the liners was recalled. So I have two of them now. So let's see, rice and start. And before you worry, the reason it was recalled was because the max fill line is wrong. I'm not filling these to the max fill, so we are okay. All right, it's the first look. Let's see how this looks. Oh, it looks fantastic. Whoa, sorry. Fogged you out there, but look at how delicious this looks. It definitely looks, well, the cream cheese, we'll see if that still looks kind of weird after I mix it in all the way, but it looks a little bit soupy, which I'm actually okay with. I'm going to add the cheese, and then I know this will soak up some of the liquid as it sits here for a little bit. So let's do this. It calls for mozzarella. I'm going to use this Mexican style because I already had it out. Looks fantastic. You know, the cream cheese is starting to melt in there, which is great. Oh, this looks delicious. Let's taste it. Let's see. I might add more cheese, actually. Why not? I just added the rest of what I had in that bag. I mean, we're getting ready for a pantry challenge, so can't hurt to start a little early, right? So now this is almost like a mac and cheese, a buffalo mac and cheese. That's what it is. It's buffalo chicken mac and cheese. I don't think that's what it was called, but I just added so much cheese that that's basically what it is now. Oh, this is looking good. Okay, not really hungry. I just ate lunch, and what I ate for lunch was just a bowl of the filling I'm gonna use for the burritos, and that was delicious. Let's see here. This looks so fantastic. I hope it's as good as it looks. Okay, I think I need to let this cool. Well, okay, let's give it a try. It's delicious. It's a bit more on the milder side of the buffalo, but I don't think I want to add any more because now it's kind of more like a mac and cheese with a buffalo hint. It's delicious. I'm going to let it sit here for a while. Put the fork down. Clean as you go, right? Even in the middle of a sentence. I'm going to let it sit here, let it soak up a little bit, and then I'm going to individually portion it and put it in my fridge for meals this week, either lunches or dinners. We don't typically do like sit-down family dinners, so having some food prepped is the way we like to do it. All right, let's get those burritos put together. Okay, here's my thought. Are you crooked? Okay, you're not crooked anymore. I am going to make these into burritos, and what I typically do with burritos is I just open up a lot of foil and I individually wrap them and then just stick them in the fridge. I don't put them, whoops, I don't put them in any type of plastic. I know foil is still not the best for the environment, but so far this is what I've found to work the best. I have 20 tortilla shells. That's what's left in my house. I don't think I'm gonna get 20 burritos, but however many we get is how many we're making. And these are little shells. Okay, some of these are still a little bit frozen, but we'll be okay. Might have overstuffed this. One down. Tiny one. Well, I filmed making all these burritos. It ended up being exactly 20, which was great. It, for some reason, stopped recording halfway through. So at least I got some of it that I'll show you. But I brought this over. This is now perfect. It is not too liquidy. So I'm going to package this up. I think this is going to make more than 4 potentially, but I got 4 out right now. Do you meal prep your week at the beginning of the week and just kind of eat throughout the week? It's kind of like eating, get my words all mixed up. It's kind of like eating leftovers every day, but I really enjoy not having to cook every single day. I think I am gonna need one more. So I'm glad I didn't use a whole box of pasta. That would have been so much. Yeah, let me grab one more. I think I might need to take a little out of some of these just to make this one be a little bit more full. Okay. That is so good. So these, what I'm going to do with is I'm going to put them in my fridge, and then we'll see in a couple days how many are left. Sometimes things go real fast and sometimes they don't, but I also have sloppy joes in my fridge. So we have a few options this week for meals, and whatever we don't eat within the next like 2 days or so, 2-3 days, I will put in the freezer. But sometimes it'll be like I know for a fact I'm gonna eat this for lunch tomorrow. I might eat it for dinner tonight. I probably won't eat it for both, but I am going to label them. And if you wondered why I have blue on my finger, it's because I touched the marker. So this is buffalo mac and cheese, I'm gonna call it. That's not what it was called, but I'm gonna call it that. And if you haven't seen this trick, a wet erase marker on these works great. It does get on my hand occasionally, but it's fantastic for being able to get everything labeled. Okay, let's get these over. Look at that, we did it. Thanks so much for being here with me today as we prepared these Instant Pot meals. These are fantastic. I'm so excited to have these in my freezer because the freezer really was starting to get not so exciting with all of just the very ends of the things that I didn't really want to be eating through. So we got these made, that's great. If you haven't yet, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'm so happy you're here. If you're interested in seeing some other Instant Pot meals, I will pop them up over here, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.